They're saying that it's too late, that it's oversaturated, that brands already picked the creators they want to work with. As I've shared in my most recent videos, since I started traveling full-time, I no longer work with the handful of brands that I used to partner with because most of those were for physical things. However, it has been the year that I have gotten the most brand reach out. And I'm talking about brands both big and small. So it's not too late, it's not oversaturated, and you can still get started. This is the exact strategy I would follow to get to 7 figures with UGC alone, even if I was starting from scratch. Number 1, as I've said before, you work backwards. So 7 figures, what exactly are we talking about? For this example, let's use 1 million and work it backwards. That means 83,333 with 33 cents. You guys get it? So let's round it up to 84,000. And then if we do that divided by 4 weeks, 21,000 each week, which divided by 7 means 3,000 each day. Impossible? I don't think so. This year, I think instead of doing all those UGC partnerships I was doing last year, I've been replacing it with time reading. And as you might have seen, I posted a video that I read over 40 books this year. And a lot of them were about finance. And that's really where I realized that if you have a goal in mind, you have to break it down and get down and dirty to know exactly how you're going to accomplish it. That's why we went from 1 million down to 3,000 a day, which is completely different to look at. But let's move to step number 2, which is to create an MVP. MVP stands for minimum viable product. And here's what this means. What's your offer? You're not just selling content to a brand, UGC. You gotta treat it as something more. I highly recommend reading the book $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi and implementing what Hormozi says so you create an offer that's irresistible that brands can't say no to. And keep in mind, you're running a 7-figure business, so it's time to treat it like one. You need your product, you need your offer, you need your audience. And it's not just saying, yes, I'm gonna work with any brand, I'm going to offer any type of content they want. Not at all, not if you're getting the 7 figures. You need to get specific on what brands you wanna work with. Think of an industry that is in high demand for content. An industry that's growing, an industry that has capital. This is a perfect time in the afternoon where the sun is just like shining through the window. But think about it this way. So I grew up in South Florida, but I was born in Colombia. And the reality is that most of the people living in South Florida can speak both English and Spanish. I have 2 channels because I always grew up speaking both languages, that for me it's like very easy to flip from one to another. But if I put myself in Michigan or in Wyoming, I can assure you that having Spanish under my belt will be an advantage that not that many people have. In Florida, everyone has that. But up there, it's something unique. And if a brand has a Spanish audience, I'd be super valuable to them. So what I'm saying here is to look for the industries that don't have a handful of creators right there on their hands to choose from. Take a look at something like SaaS companies, real estate companies, maybe even into commercial properties. And yes, this might require you going on site. So if that's something that you can't do based on your location, then stick to the digital side and go for SaaS companies. And this isn't it. There's tons of options, but you have to be creative and look for them. The more specific and unique you get, the more you can charge. Think of brands that no one else is contacting. Number 3, I know that once you read the book, you'll understand the difference versus selling content one time versus selling a package. But the key is to offer a package. If you have to hit 21,000 a week, let's say you set your pricing at 1,000 so I can do easy math. That's a lot more brands to reach out to negotiate, to finalize with, versus selling $10,000 packages and you only have to get about 2 per week. Even better, that's about 8 to 9 brands per month that you offer those $10,000 packages to. And maybe you're thinking 10,000 is too high. It's not, but if that's the case, do 5,000, then that means 16 brands. If you're like me, your brain is probably already like thinking and digesting and doing this and that and analyzing, thinking of how you're going to be managing these brands. Here's what I would do. If it's 16 brands, I would focus on doing 4 per week. Learning to manage and being super crystal clear with your time is very, very important when it comes to managing clients. You need to treat this like a business, which leads us to step number 5. and that's to hire. This sun, I might need sunglasses. For a full operating UGC business, I would hire someone that's reaching out and doing the communication with the brands, someone that's on top of editing, another person for scripting, and then me for recording. One of my favorite business models that I've seen lately is this guy, and he offers a design agency, but trust me, this business model fits for everything UGC and even any other service that you want to provide. And so what he does is that he has set pricing and offers unlimited number of designs. So in your case, it would be unlimited videos. The reason why this works so well is because you set a high ticket price. You make it very, very clear that each video has maybe a 1 to 2 day buffer time, whatever it is for you. And then you use a Trello board where the client is leaving you like the video idea for each time, but you work on one at a time. It's marketing. It's unlimited, but really there's like a set amount with the buffer that you have. There's so many creative ways to go all in with UGC. But on a personal side, like things that have really like just made a big difference for me is number one, treating it like a business. And number two, probably the most important and the least talked about, is that in order to set those high price tickets, you will need to put in the work to your money mindset. I know I have done a ton of that work. If you haven't already watched it, a great place to start is to watch the video that I put digesting the finance books that I read this year. Hitting 7 figures with UGC is definitely possible, just like it is with any other service. And UGC is here to stay because more brands need content now more than ever. And you know it.